See? Okay. Hi, Vancouver. Good night. We're OMG Press. Here we are with Gwen Huesca and Fer Olivares. So let's start this art talk about limited print editions and art books in Mexico City. Hope you enjoy the thing. So, Gwen, thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me here. Hello, Vancouver.
Hi, I'm Fernanda Olivares, visual artist. I'm specialized in painting and printing process, and I'm really glad to be here with you at the Vancouver Art Book Fair.
Yeah, it's almost kickoff time for Vancouver Art Book Fair. It's gonna start, I think, like in 1 hour or so. So, basically, we're gonna run through a couple of editions that we have made with Fair. We're gonna talk about some books that, in some way, went inspired us to produce them. So basically, we're gonna talk about a little of everything. Like what are we doing here in Mexico City? How we see the art book scene. It's a bit funny because actually Gwen and I met at an art fair back, I think like over a year ago or something, right?
Yeah. Right. It was yeah, 1 year ago.
I think it was,
No, August,
yeah,
something like
something
that.
like that. It was Paperworks, right?
Paperworks. We shared a table.
Yeah, exactly. Very small
Yeah.
table, by the way.
Yeah, really small table. And we shared the space there, and we started talking about publications and
Yeah.
techniques and all the possibilities of machines and technologies. So yeah, that's where it began.
And the funny thing is that Fer and I studied together, so basically we know each other since we started this weird, crazy, long and winding artistic road.
Yeah.
And she's been one of our first artists to collaborate as a fully workshop, like when we started to make prints for others. Because basically we started doing prints just for myself, and then we pursue the press and we start thinking like it will be super nice to start bringing over people and collaborate and do stuff. That's why also when I met you, I was so inspired because uh, the way you approach the books, it's like something else, right? It's not just the book. It's like a book may be a vessel for many other things, and sometimes a painting might be a book. I mean, I think that's one of the few things that I learned in this past year within your guidance is that anything could be a book, and also a book might be actually not just a book. No, I don't know. It's like a weird thing. Like like a scene can be a book, and at the same time, a couple of prints in a box might be described as a book. It all depends on how we play with the content, right? So, Ferdy, would you like to share us how was it for you as a painter to translate all that knowledge into graphic and prints and
Yeah.
things?
Um, well,
Same things.
as we were saying, it has been like a long process. We've met since art school, so we've known like all our processes, all the stages of our work, and etc. And that's quite interesting, like appreciating the evolution. So I like a lot that whenever I started in the printmaking processes, it was like really smooth in a way that you need to be a little bit more minimalistic than in painting, because in painting you are like all the time thinking about midtones and transitions and realism, and this exercise of printmaking, of making a synthesis of certain things, of tones, of shadows, making some colors flat, and I liked experimenting with those processes, and of course the input of a book that might be documentation processes, analyzing an image in other ways and becoming icons in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that the thing that you're saying, no? You have like this way or method in painting or in doing traditional book, like in editing. And once you start doing the thing called art book, all of a sudden all those barriers just fade away and you
Totally.
are like you just dive in and you can start doing all the things that maybe in school they tell you that don't do that thing or that material doesn't have to be here or you don't have to do that thing in that approach and this time you can actually start like just letting yourself go and dive into the process and all the things that you start to collect, I think,
Hmm.
start to make everything a little more interesting, right? I mean, for you, it must be in one hell of a journey. I mean, you actually work doing books and publications, and you have that other dark time job, you know?
The parallel dimension.
Yeah, exactly. We all live in multiverses.
That's true. Yes, it's like you start doing things like they tell you to do in at school or in a practice. I'm editor of academic books, so you have to make books like in a very structured way. But once you start experimenting other things, then you find out that you have so many possibilities. It's like you learn how not to do things, but you start doing that thing, and
Precisely,
then
yeah.
you discover that it's like a barrier, and once you go through that barrier, you cross it, then you find out that it's a whole world of possibilities.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting because you grow up a lot, like experimenting and doing things, and that's the only way to learn.
Yeah, and I think it's very uh, amazing that here in Mexico City, we are like living a revival or a rise up, I don't know how to call it, maybe a revolution of how independent creators start to organize. There's this very beautiful network of people that works, and sometimes one guy is the one that makes all the binding for 10 or for I don't know 40, 20 other people. There's this guy that makes an awesome screen printing, and this guy prints for everyone. And then there are three beautiful research shops in Mexico City. La Duplicadora is one of our closest friends. Sara is another one. They are like our neighbors in the south. And then there's Kankan Press. So I think these three are like the cornerstone, and from them everything else starts to grow. And there are also many other press projects, editorials, young publishers. They are working in all the fairs. You can see that, I don't know, there's a fair coming in 2 months in Asia, and now you see Mexicans go to Asia. You see Mexicans spamming the US. You see Mexicans going to Colombia. And I believe that we are living in a moment that everyone is trying to get out of the city, but at the same time, living in the city, working in the city. I mean, production cost here in Mexico City, it's pretty cheap compared to any other part in the world. You can find almost anything. And I believe that's also boosting how we are engaging to this new wave of publishers. I mean, I don't know. I don't recall to have this kind of platforms when we were at school. It was like
No.
no one is editing shit. I mean, if you are not a writer, if
Totally.
you don't have, I don't know, like specific moments or connections, you weren't able to make it. And now you only have to have an Instagram account, YouTube account, and start like shooting to the stars.
Yeah, and actually the collaborations that come out for the art books are really interesting because you can get like this multidisciplinary focus when you suddenly contact a young curator, a writer, a poet. I don't know, you can do anything. You can actually make, I don't know, the process of certain materials, or if you're working with technology, or if you're working with traditional processes of painting, of sculpture, and anything can be really an art book. And these collaborations, I think that that's like the valuable thing of all the process. I think, especially in Mexico City, uh, these connections that come from different disciplines. I really like that part.
Yeah, and I think it's you should try it once the fucking pandemic times are over. Come to Mexico City, try to see what's all about, because we have a huge stock of papers, right? I mean, you've been talking to me always this awesome adventure when you bring people from Southern America, and they are like, "What? You have a whole neighborhood that sells paper? I want to have that tortilla paper thing." And we are like, "I hate that tortilla paper thing."
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's also part of what makes it so special, right? Like here, everything can be produced for or as or be made into make art. I mean, and I think that's beautiful compared to any other city.
It's really inspiring to see people doing things, and then you get to know each other, and then you start working together, and then you see that you can do whatever you want. Like you paint and I write, and then you print, so we can do something, and that can become a book. Or it's a very interesting cross book edition and art or graphics, because I'm an editor, and I started doing experimental books, and in some places it's like artist books. They are called artist books. But I see them like, I mean, I'm an editor, but then you're an artist and you want to make a book, and then we like smash together our vision, and then you have results. You don't know what would that be.
Superpowers.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really, really inspiring. And yeah, I think Mexico, the country, is in a very special position, geographic position.
Yeah.
And Mexico City has many possibilities to do. I mean, you can find everything you want, because we are really close to United States. So
Yeah.
that
I think that's
that's
like key
kind
part
of the
of the
key,
whole thing.
right? Because we have papers, we have inks, we have lots of materials. And when you move a little bit more to the south, then you don't find everything you want,
There's
or
nothing.
it's not that cheap. So yeah, and here we have this tradition of craftsman's tradition. So yeah, you can do many things here. You will find a master of whatever you want.
Yeah.
That will help you to take your idea out of your mind.
Yeah, and I think that's very beautiful because, like you were saying, you can have craftsmanship, and it's also a thing that really helps us when you don't know actually how to do something. There's always a guy that says like, don't worry, this guy can help you out because he's been printing screen printings for 50 years, and then you're like, oh really? And you can just go and ask, and probably if he's packed with work, he's gonna tell you, okay, but my apprentice can teach you, or he can do the prints, and then you have a friend that does bookbinding. No, I think for me that's like one of the key things, because there are many things that I wasn't, or that I didn't know how to do it, or how to actually craft it. But there was always someone, like when you do sculpture, when I met you, I started to think about more of what my typography will help me, or how I need to put all these elements into this vessel that we call book, and how sometimes the idea is one thing and what happens at the end is probably another book, but the first idea must be kept there because maybe in 5 years, or I don't know, that thing is gonna come over, and then you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? That thing was like, and I think it's like connecting dots. Like when we were young and we were like choosing these coloring books that you were just following dots and numbers. For me, I think the art book thing it's that thing. I feel more comfortable and secure with the people that I've been meeting and hanging out since we are doing books than when I was so concerned about doing like contemporary art and
Totally.
trying to be a part of that thing.
Totally.
I think here people is more like, you know what? I don't understand what you are doing, but I think you are doing it perfectly and
Let's do
beautiful.
it.
So let's do
Let's do
it.
it. Yeah.
Show me more. I want to know why you think, I don't know, making a book about corners might be interesting for you. And you're like, blah, because corners are blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah.
So I think it's very amazing that we try to um, inspire young generation of artists to try to not keep their eyes in the, I don't know, like the established things. I try to start moving to those other satellite stuff that it's going on, because I think you can be at these kind of fairs for a very reasonable price. You can start meeting other people. You can actually get feedback, right? I think for you as an editor, one of the best things probably is when you actually get to see your product out, what people gives you as a feedback.
Yeah, because you never know what is working or not until you see it out.
Outside of your head.
I mean, yeah. I was talking to a Chilean friend about books, and I said, "Yeah, when you do something wrong," and she says, "No, it can be the most beautiful book, but you won't sell not even one piece." So it's you have to think about how to change it, or maybe I don't know, change the size or the color or the material.
Or maybe just go to another city, right? Because probably
Yeah.
you've been experiencing that what you sell in Medellin, it's not the same that you sell in Sweden.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the same thing for Chicago. It's not gonna be the same for New York.
Yeah, but it helps when you go out like to the world, and the fairs are like the door to go out to
Yeah.
to the like the window to show your work and see the reactions, and then you learn a lot, and then you find people to help you.
Yeah, when you find your peers, right?
Yeah.
Like for now, we want to say hi to Endless Editions, to PJ. He's our brother. He's watching. He's gonna be also in the art book fair. He's been a terrible, incredible friend for us. He's basically the one that started to coaching me. Like you can do this kind of things. You must pursue this kind of work. Like I think his work ethic is beautiful. Like
Yeah.
if you can help someone, you are gonna help him. If you can keep pushing in order to more people come to this beautiful art world, it's better. So I think basically that's how I met you. Basically that's how we've been working for so long. I think that when you put just for a moment money aside and you just try to focus on, I mean, we don't actually live from this, so that's what gives us room to actually improvise and have fun and pursue those dreams or other ways to produce.
Yeah, totally. It's like making things happen. So we have this idea with no expectations of, okay, we're gonna make this million, you know? So that's pretty cool. And I think that you have this freedom of creating, of experimenting, of trying new things, and of course finding your public and your publics. And this combination between traditional processes and technologies, I think that it's really, really interesting.
What?
What?
We're being hijacked by Google. Sorry. But yeah, what you're saying is pretty accurate. I think that once we start doing these connections, you can actually start developing into new and very authentic, more like true to yourself kind of work. You know?
Yeah, and I think the message will be to try new things and to move from your
Definitely.
sphere of art or to of books
So what, or
to
what you
another
consider
one.
to be your
Yeah,
niche, I don't know how.
yeah, your like your little world,
Yeah, exactly.
like your scope. Then you have to move to find out new possibilities of doing things and new people, of course,
Yeah.
to work with.
Yeah, and empathy to the people who's reading you, because you never know who's back there
Yeah.
putting your content, and it's like, oh, I've been thinking on this for so long. We're
Yeah, it
tuned
has
in,
happened to
right?
us. Yeah,
So
it's
that's
happened.
beautiful, I think, and that's like the magic of this.
See, and I think that probably one of the things that I love about printmaking and now I love about doing art books, it's that when you are just like you just do a painting or you just do a sculpture or you just do a happening or something, you just do that one thing, right? And when you have editions, you get to have the possibility to actually reach more and wider audiences
Totally.
because you get to insert that little thing in this house and that little thing in other, and then if you go to 3 countries in a year, then you have that much spread in your connection. So I think it's very beautiful to end a fair, and I don't know, it has happened to us on the very last day, regardlessly memories. I like to call it that way because I always remember. Oh, do you remember that guy from that country that gave us that scene, or we exchanged this one. We were able to buy that one. So I think it's a very beautiful thing that you engage as a collector, you engage as a producer, you engage as a press. It's very funny because you change. I mean, I know you have a very, very beautiful collection,
Yeah.
right?
But it's not just the objects that you collect or that you get in the fairs, but also the people behind these objects.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I have friends in many places in Latin America. They all do art books. Many of them study art books, so that's like another dimension. Uh, and right now, in pandemic times, it's really nice to talk to people through this media. Without COVID, we wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
we
true.
probably will be in Vancouver.
No.
We're gonna be there next year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
what you're
now
saying,
we,
it's yeah, it's true.
and now we all are connected. I mean, in many fairs, a friend, Calypso Press, will be in Shanghai
And it's
this
also
week,
this
and it's
fair.
also in Vancouver. So it wouldn't be possible without this
Yeah, this kind of
vision.
connections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
This
course.
vision of I cannot leave my house, but well, let's get out some other way.
Yeah, and I think that's a very nice way to start to bring this home because uh, we're gonna be at Vancouver Art Book Fair today. It's gonna be, I think, a private thing. Tomorrow and Sunday, we are also having a stuff with New York Queer Sign Fair. So basically, like you were saying, there are happening. It's happening like in very other
Yeah.
countries and cities, and I think that's a beautiful thing because even if we are close in our houses, or sorry, I'm blah blah blah, but I think it's cool because maybe you are not in China, maybe you are not in Vancouver, but you start to get in touch with those artists. You start to make connections on Instagram, on Twitch, on Twitter, whatever. And what's gonna come next is that probably next year when we start to recover things or change the way we're used to do it, we're gonna start having new friends, new approaches, new looks, and I think that's beautiful. Like maybe a thing that I was seeing or watching, maybe someone in Vancouver thinks the same as me, and maybe this fair will connect us, and that will be like a fucking brainwash,
Yeah, or maybe in
like a
2 years
mind fuck.
that person will come
Come to
here
Mexico, claro.
and
Yeah.
will look for OMG Press or the paintings fair.
Or for you to edit something, yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Please come.
Yeah, we're open.
So, well, it's almost time for us to go. I would like to thank you both for being here, for being such great friends with me, and for keeping doing this kind of weird, unexpected things we call YouTube lives. We're gonna keep promising that we're gonna get better.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
You
thank
tell
you.
us.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
OMG Press is amazing. You should check out everything that
We
we
are
have.
doing.
Yeah, it's amazing, really.
And it's really a nice place. If you come to Mexico sometime, you have to visit. OMG Press, so generous and nice people, and with really great job.
Well, so thank you all. Gracias, producción. Como la cotorriza. Eso fue un chiste para México. Thanks, Vancouver.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, family. Emilio.
Thank you, Vancouver.
And the three doggos. See you soon. Stay safe.
See you.
Wear a mask. Bye.
Bye.
We keep doing bye.
Hasta que nos digan que ya no.
Ya me cansé.